Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Digital Economy campaign. I'm Ashley Blake. Now, even before the pandemic, the workplace was changing, with many organisations taking a more relaxed attitude to remote working and bring your own device. Then came COVID-19 and the lockdowns, and companies were forced from one day to the next to reinvent their operations and working relationships. But many have come to realise that this new way of working may have its advantages, making businesses more flexible, efficient and smart. Far from begrudgingly approving remote working and bring your own device, companies are now actively encouraging this approach, as by doing so, they can cut costs and gain access to a bigger, better, more global pool of talent and suppliers. But all of this is in vain if organisations don't start out with a safe and supportive infrastructure. What do these terms mean in practice? This is what we're going to find out today from Niamh Muldoon, cybersecurity expert at OneLogin. Welcome to Business Reporter, Niamh.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Excellent stuff. Let's get straight into it, shall we? What does supportive and safe mean?
It means different things to different organisations, but at OneLogin it means that your end users being your employees, your customers and your partners, have the ability to access their data and systems from anywhere, anytime and any device securely.
So what does this mean then?
It means that we are seen as a trusted service provider, helping organisations around the globe provide operational excellence, quality services, balancing the associated cost and risk. The risk around validating that only authorised individuals can access the data when required.
I see, excellent. So we've heard about companies and we've heard about sort of many breaches in recent times, many brands who we assume have the resources to build a robust infrastructure, but they failed in safety and resilience. Why is that, do you think?
So if we look at the operating environment over the last 18 months, we've had a huge increase in digitalisation, data being made available in cloud, on-prem, so that end users and businesses can continue moving forward. The security model maybe hasn't moved in the same way that the business services have about being always available around the clock and from different geographical locations. Security hasn't been embedded into the people, processes and the technologies to the same degree.
I see. So is it about a choice between safety and efficiency?
No, you can have both if you pick the right solution.
Right.
And what do we mean by that? Making sure that trust and security is embedded in the technology architecture and that the security features are added in so that companies and organisations can make individual decisions around how to configure the security technology in line with how they want to operate and their risk appetite.
So it sounds like these challenges are not even technological problems. The obstacle standing in the way is the adaptation of people, the culture, like you said. So why do chief security officers hesitate to make a change?
From an identity and access management perspective, it's like a tick in the box around putting in place a single sign-on solution. What they fail to do is come back and constantly review it from an implementation and a configuration perspective. Again, over the last 18 months, we've seen a huge change in how businesses operate using the cloud, digitalisation. How many of those businesses have revisited their identity and access management solutions to validate that they're configured correctly and appropriately? Take, for example, the joiners, movers, leavers processes. We know that there's huge risks associated with them. Using a single sign-on solution, you can embed them in, automate them and alert on them when the policies aren't being adhered to. Again, it's about the constant focus to validate that your access is in line with your business model against the various different threats and vulnerabilities that your organisation faces. At OneLogin, our Chief Trust and Security Officer reports directly into our CEO. That's hugely empowering from a business decision perspective. They have a single view of data and technology. So they're there when decisions are being discussed around how the business is going to operate, and they have the expertise to make those informed decisions to support the business moving forward.
So, Niamh, you advocate that technology is ready and we can have the best of both worlds, you said, as long as we've built the right infrastructure and operations. So why don't companies take this advice?
The right security culture isn't there. That security first mindset isn't there within all organisations. A recent survey conducted by OneLogin and remote working across the globe and looking at different industries found that only 38% of organisations have implemented multi-factor authentication, so that's strong access control into their data and systems. 13% haven't done anything. So even though the business has changed, making the data and systems available around the clock from any location, they have not, and the threat landscape has increased, they have failed to implement the right security, what we would consider baseline controls. So the security mindset and culture isn't being prioritised and driven within the organisations.
So let's imagine for a moment I'm the CISO of a company with 1,000 employees in 5 different countries. Why would I decide to build this infrastructure? What triggers the boardroom conversation?
Single view of data. So data is our liquid gold, so think of it that way. So it's a single view of data in relation to your risks that you're going to have and how this also helps you deliver quality business services.
So how does OneLogin help with this?
OneLogin is amazing in the fact that it streamlines access from an end user perspective, end users being your employees, your partners and your customers. We then build on the security into the access control, so strong authentication. From that, we automate those processes that we know have high operational risks associated with them, the joiners, movers and leavers. And then we're a single view for your CSIRT team being your cybersecurity incident response team, to monitor and keep alert on the various different threats that are hitting the access control into your data and systems. And also, we're an independent identity and access management provider. What does this mean? You're not giving one company the keys to your kingdom, your data and your access to your systems.
Okay, so what about my IT department? Do I still need them? Do they need retraining? What happens there?
Your IT department are the foundation of your success in delivering identity and access management. They're going to be needed, continue to be needed, but they're going to be enabled and freed up around having the time and space to do additional work while the identity and access management is taken care of both from an operations and a risk perspective through a solution like OneLogin.
And what about upskilling my department? What new skills will they need?
Upskilling your department from a technology perspective, there's very little upskilling. It's all embedded within the product offering, and in fact we are a trusted provider in that we will continue to share with you thought leadership around automation and security best practices.
So the workplace, how would you describe the future workplace in, let's say, 3 words?
Work from anywhere.
Brilliant. That's a great way to sum it up. Niamh, thanks very much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me.